Hello students, my name is Shayan Mitra, faculty member of Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering of Greater Kolkata College of Engineering and Management of JS Group. Today our discussion topic will be about embedded system, and today we are going to give a brief and a compact introduction of embedded systems and its different kind of characteristics. So let's start. Embedded system, and the code number is ECE 703A. This is the lecture number. System definition. The first thing we are going to know is what is system. System is a way of working, organizing or performing one or many tasks according to a fixed set of rules, program or plan. Also an arrangement in which all units assemble and work together according to a program or plan. Examples: time displays a system, a watch. Time display system as a watch. It means it shows time. Automatic cloth washing machine, or that's what we know as washing machine. Basically, its work. It is there is a it's a specific system, and there are different kind of machineries and processor are embedded in a washing machine, which because of which the whole the machinery system works. So this is the beginning. Now let's go to the next slide. System examples. System examples are it's an automatic close system example. This system example is about a clothing machine, basically washing machine. Let's see what we have here. It's an automatic clothes washing system. Parts is a status display panel in where we can see the how much work has been done over the clothes. It's rinse or it's wet or dry. Different kind of switches are there. Different kind of dials are there. We have motor which helps to wheel that integrated system within, which is behind the glasses, or in which we pour the clothes on. And another thing, to wheel that motor, we got a power supply and a control unit through which the whole system, or all the process that machine accumulates, we can through that control unit we control the whole functionaries of that washing machine. Inner water level sensors are also there. Different kind of solenoid valves are there, and the process are wash by spinning, rinse, drying, wash over by blinking. Each step display the process stage. In case of interruption, execute only the remaining. So, and as we can see that there are different kind of washing machine are there in market, and each and every washing machine or that particular system got different kind of availabilities. It has different kind of uh, system, different kind of different kind of motors, different kind of software system has been embedded in that particular machine. So in market there are different kind of specification are there for each and every different kind of machine. So let's go to the next slide. Now what is the different system and embedded system? Basically, embedded means that embedded word coined from the word embodiment. An embodiment means a system within a system. If a system is hide or integrated in a specific system, that then we would say that this is embodiment. It means the soul is embodied in a body. That's it's an inner thing. It means in case of an embedded system, a system in which there are different kind of parts and machineries which are integrated within the system, and without all those machineries or systems, that total embedded system, the system that we can see from the outside will not work. That's why it is named as embedded system. An embedded system is a system that has software embedded into a computer hardware. It means, in such, if we take example of washing machine, in washing machine there is a a processor, and that processor has been burned with a specific code which has been written in C or C++. The whole machine or the whole processor has been burned with that coding system. That's why the whole system works according to the control unit. Now, what you had said in this slide is an embedded system is a system that has software embedded into a computer hardware, which makes a system dedicated for an application or specific part of an application or product, or part of a larger system. It's basically the total washing machine is a larger system in which we have processor, we have different kind of microprocessor, we have software program which has been embedded in that whole big machinery. And it is any device that includes a programmable computer, but it is not itself intended to be a general purpose computer. Washing machine is not a general purpose computer. It has been dedicated to do some very specific work. Or we can say in other words, it has a very specific set of skills, and it can only perform that specific work. We can't calculate anything with washing machine. That's why it is been said that it's programmable device, but it is not a general purpose computer. There's a basic difference between general purpose computer and embedded system, embedded machine and embedded system. This is a picture of a processor, and that whole, it's an Atmega processor, and the software program has been included. It has been burned. There is a different kind of process out there through which we will going to discuss about all that how a program has been burned into a processor, how we can use a specific processor for very specific reasons. And there are in a computer the type of processor we use, but in case of an embedded system we don't use that kind of processor. We use a very different kind of processors. So let's go to the next slide. Now the computer hardware that has been used in an embedded system, these are the example of all those hardware that has been used or that we use in a to create an embedded system. We use a microprocessor. We need a large memory, primary and secondary, so that's why we need RAM, ROM and cache memory, because as we know that in case of my processor we also need a cache memory. Input units through which we can input our instruction to that system. Output units that usually it's basically a display units. In case of embedded system, moreover all the output units usually be different kind of, just such as in case of metro rail we used to see LCD display. Those are the output units of an embedded system. And we also need networking units, because we need that communication to be very much accurate. Ethernet card, drivers, etc. the network units. And input output units are modem, fax, COM modem. These are different kind of examples of input output units also. And these are the example of computer hardware that has been used in an embedded system. Let's go to the next slide. Components of embedded system. Which kind of things has been used to assemble a specific embedded system? First, we need hardware. In hardware, what we need processor, we need timers, we need interrupt controller, we need input output devices, we need memory such as RAM, ROM, caches. We need different kind of ports through which we will be connecting all the communication and input output devices to make it happen, to make it work, that embedded system. It should have a main application software, and usually C or C++ is the basic thing that we use, which may perform concurrently as a series of tasks or multiple tasks. To make it happen, to perform all those tasks, we need to burn all those coding system, all the coding into that processor. The processor need to know the basic coding through which all the work will be done through that embedded system. And it has also real-time. It's always need a real-time operating system. RTOS defines, and what is RTOS? It's not very much similar to Windows XP. RTOS defines the way the system works, which supervises the application software. It sets the rules during the execution of the application program. A small-scale embedded system may not need an RTOS. We'll go to the small-scale embedded system. What is that? we need an operating system for this also. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. And this is a specific structure of an embedded system hardware, how it works, what we have here. First we have in this block, it's input devices, interfacing or driver circuits. We need input device interface or driver circuits as we have in computer. We need the processor and the timer, we need interrupt controller, we need program memory and data memory. We need to install the program memory and the data memory, and serial communication port for communication purpose. They are parallel ports, and this is output interface and driver circuits. We always need driver circuits in input and output devices. Output devices such as LCD or any display screen. Input device is all the switch and buttons that we use to indicate the system to do its job. Here we always need a power supply, reset circuit and oscillator circuit, and we need system application specific circuit. System application specific circuit means that we need a circuit which is system applicable. Specifically for that specific application we need a specific circuit. Such as also we need a very specific amount of coding instruction set. We need a specific coding that through which we can instruct the embedded system to do its job. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Now the important part is embedded system constraints. An embedded system is a software designed to keep in view three very important constraints, which are available system memory, available processor speed, the need to limit the power dissipation. To improve embedded system, what we need to, as we know that power is the most important factor right now, so any kind of machine that we build, we need to limit the power dissipated by that machine. Also, if the processor speed is available, then the delay or the lag of that machine will be reduced. And also the system memory, as you know that as if you don't have a system memory, the processor will not work as according to it. That's why we need these three very important system constants are there. Okay, now when running the system continuously in cycles of wait for events, run, stop and wake up. And eventually is software, yes, that's fine. And all this availability will be required for running the system continuously in cycles of wait for events, run, stop and wake up. Any these kind of events should be overcome by improving all these parameters of our embedded system. Now let's go to the next slide. Now what makes the embedded system different? First, it's a real-time operation. As you can see, if we use a washing machine, as we instruct the machine to do its job, it do its job as according to the instruction, and it happens in very real-time situation. That's a very important factor or the important characteristics of embedded system is real-time operation. The size, as we know, the processor size is decreasing, all the cost important is decreasing, the amount of energy or the power dissipated because of this is decreasing, so we are getting more smarter and smarter embedded system. That's why another important factor is size. The cost is also reduced. To do a very specific set of job, we use a very specific set of machineries, so the amount of cost for this is also decreased and it's very available. The amount of time is important, and the time it takes to do his job is very less. If we're talking about human will take an amount of time, but in case of machine it takes a less time, and it's much more reliable, it's much more safe, it's always consume less energy. As we goes across, the amount of energy we provide or the amount of energy that we lost because of this kind of job, but if we use a specific system, the amount of energy is saved. And it's also security. For security reasons also different kind of embedded system is also being used. So let's go to the next slide. Now the classification of embedded system. There are three kind of embedded system. One is small scale embedded system, two is medium scale embedded system, and three is sophisticated embedded system. Now let's go into depth in analysis of these three kind of embedded system. Small scale embedded system. Small scale embedded system. These are the characteristics of small scale embedded system, such as it's a single 8-bit or 16-bit microcontroller. It accumulates a single 8-bit or 16-bit microcontroller. Very less amount of hardware and software complexity. They may even be battery operated because the amount of power it needs is very low. Usually C is used for developing this system. The need to limit power dissipation when system is running continuously. So small scale embedded system, these are the specific characteristics of small scale embedded system, and from these characteristics we can see that a small scale embedded system use lesser power, lesser complex hardware and software, and its speed is also less. That's because it uses a single 8-bit or 16-bit microcontroller. It uses C for developing the system as a code runner, and the need to limit power dissipations when the system is running continuously. So it is being used in a different way, because if the system is running continuously, so amount of power it dissipates is very higher. In that situation we use the small scale embedded system where the power limitation can be done using this embedded system. So let's go to the next segment. That is medium scale embedded system. Single or few 16 or 32-bit microcontrollers or digital signal processor or reduced instruction set computers are being used here. Both hardware and software complexity. It means the hardware and software complexity in case of medium scale embedded system is higher. It needs much more speed, that's why you use single or few 16 or 32-bit microcontrollers or digital signal processor. And we also use we can use reduced construction set computers or RISC in case of medium scale embedded system. And such programming tools that we use in case of medium scale embedded systems are RTOS, real-time operating system, source code engineering tool, simulator, debugger, and integrated development environment or IDE. So these all programming tools can be used to give instruction to a medium scale embedded system. Okay, so these are the things, and this is the difference between medium scale embedded system and small scale embedded system. Let's go to the next slide. And third one is sophisticated embedded system. Enormous hardware and software complexity which may need scalable processor or configurable processor. Enormous hardware and software complexity which may need scalable processor or configurable processor and programming logic arrays. Programming logic arrays. The example of programming logic arrays are FPGA, field programmable gate arrays can be used here, and constrained by the processing speed available in their hardware units. It means in case of sophisticated embedded system, the processing speed needs to be high, and that's why it's known as sophisticated, and the hardware and the software complexities are high, and because of that the power dissipation will always be a great challenge for sophisticated embedded system. That's why you also use a scalable processor or configurable processor and programming logic arrays through which we can reprogram that sophisticated embedded system as according to the specific set of work it needs to done. So these are the characteristics of sophisticated embedded system. Now the programming tools that are being used for sophisticated embedded system are, for those systems may not be readily available at a reasonable cost or may not be available at all. A compiler or retargetable compiler might have to be developed for this. It means for sophisticated embedded system, if we go to the previous slide, what we have here, that in case of medium scale embedded system, we specifically used RTOS or source code engineering tool or IDE or different kind of simulators or debugger. But in case of sophisticated embedded system, we can't have any readily available at a reasonable cost. We can't have a programming tool which is readily available for sophisticated embedded system. To create a sophisticated embedded system, we also need to create or develop a specific compiler or retargetable compiler to to use that programming tool to put all those instruction on the processor. So specific set of compiler, retargetable compiler need to be developed to create certain kind of sophisticated embedded system. So these are the three different type of the embedded system, and today we will end this class up to this. Thank you all. From the next lecture we will go in an in-depth analysis of different kind of embedded system and how it has been worked. Thank you all.